Hello, fellow murderers. Today is Saturday, May 11th, and it's a great day to solve a murder. Today we have the mysterious murder at the Old English Village, and we have 6 4x4 grids with suspects, motives, locations, and weapons. It's Saturday, so we have a classic impossible puzzle, which means we have statements at the bottom here. We have 4 statements, 3 of them must be true, and 1 of them must be a lie. Whomever is the liar is our murderer today, and that's how we'll crack the case. So let's go ahead and meet our suspects today. We have Miss Saffron, Sister Lapis, Grandmaster Rose, and Chancellor Tuscany. The weapons are a chessboard, a pair of gardening shears, an antique flintlock, and yarn. The locations are the quaint garden, the ancient ruins, the chapel, and the manor house. And finally, the motives are to rob the victim, to see what it felt like to kill, to rage with jealousy, and to break into the industry. Alrighty, let's dive into our clues and evidence. Analysts discovered traces of a weapon made of stone on the clothing of Grandmaster Rose. So looking at the weapons, my guess is it's the chessboard. Okay, this is made of stone, but let's check the others and just make sure nothing else is made of stone. Okay, so this will be Grandmaster Rose's weapon, and we can go ahead and cross that off. The person with yarn wanted to rage with jealousy. So for this, we go to the intersection of yarn and raging with jealousy and motives and weapons here. And we can put a green check there to show that was the connection there. This also tells us that that was not Grandmaster Rose's motive, so we can put that in as well down here. The person who wanted to see what it felt like to kill was not in the manor house. So I believe this one's the manor house, yeah. So for this, we're going to go to the intersection of locations and motives, which is right here. And we're going to say that the person who wanted to see what it felt like to kill was not in the manor house. That's all we can put in for that. Traces of a weapon made of wood were found by the ancient ruins. I think the antique flintlock was wood and metal. Yes, let's just double check. Wool, stone, metal. All right. So the antique flintlock must have been by the ancient ruins. All right, and that can also tell us a bit more about Grandmaster Rose's location. Grandmaster Rose did not have the antique flintlock because Grandmaster Rose had the chess set, so Grandmaster Rose was not by the ancient ruins. We also know that the motive for the ancient ruins was not to rage with jealousy, as that pertains to a different weapon than the antique flintlock, so we can mark that in here. Okay, so finally we have an anagram puzzle. So the person with an antique flintlock wanted to break into the industry. Okay, so let's see. The antique flintlock, and they wanted to break into the industry. And that was at the ancient ruins, so we can put that in here. And let me see if there's anything else. So this, I was just saying Grandmaster Rose did not want to break into the industry because it is associated with the antique flintlock, so not his weapon. All right, I think that's all we have for now. So I'll go ahead and cross this off. And now it's time for our statements. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the save button here. And what that will do is that will allow us to hit the recycling button above and reset to this state in our detective's notebook. So as we try out different versions of the statements, we can try those out to see what may be true, and then reset to here so we don't lose our progress with the information we've already gathered. So the first thing I do is go through and see if there's anything that absolutely must be true or must be false based on what we've already found. And then I go line by line, assuming each person is lying. So let's start with Sister Lapis. Sister Lapis, Miss Saffron. We're starting with Miss Saffron. Speaking about Sister Lapis, I keep doing that. Miss Saffron is saying that Sister Lapis brought yarn. Okay, that seems to be possible, so we'll skip that for now. Grandmaster Rose was by the ancient ruins. No way. Sister Lapis is the murderer. Oh, that was kind of a bummer. Okay, Sister Lapis. And we know that because we know that the antique flintlock was by the ancient ruins and Grandmaster Rose had the chess set. That feels impossible that that's that, especially on a Saturday. I think that might be it. So I'm just going to hit save again. I'm nearly 100% though that it has to be Sister Lapis based on this. And then Miss Saffron has to be telling the truth, so she would have yarn. And Chancellor Tuscany has to be telling the truth, so she'd be in the quaint garden. And we know that the motive for the yarn is to rage with jealousy. I can't believe it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and flip these over, but let's just see if this works out. So I'm gonna hit save one more time. So Sister Lapis brought yarn. That would have to be true, so let's mark that in. And it would also have to, she would have to be in the quaint garden, so let's mark those pieces in as well. And raging with jealousy. That would put Miss Saffron in the manor house. So it can't be the ancient flintlock because that was at the ancient ruins and she needs to be in the manor house. So I'm going to say she had the gardening shears. So then Tuscany had the flintlock. So Miss Saffron with the gardening shears in the ancient, in the manor. These in here. Yep, that's working out. And then, okay, so gardening shears in the manor house. Okay, here it is. The person who wanted to see what it felt like to kill was not in the manor house. So the gardening shears did not have that motive because Miss Saffron was in the manor house and had the gardening shears. So we can put that there. So that means that Miss Saffron's motive was to rob the victim and Grandmaster Rose's motive was to see what it felt like to kill. So we can fill those in here, and that's everything. I'm just going to fill these out here quickly. So Sister Lapis with the yarn, rage with jealousy. Okay, there's everything all filled out. That worked. I'm still so surprised. And if you're sitting there like, what just happened? As we were going through these and seeing which of them must be true, or seeing if any of them must be true or must be false based on what we already knew, instead I would be like looking at the information we had in here and seeing if we'd already found something pertaining to these. The second one here, Grandmaster Rose by the ancient ruins, we knew had to be a lie because we knew that the antique flintlock was by the ancient ruins and that Grandmaster Rose had the chess set. So that meant that Sister Lapis must have been lying and that the other three must be true. So I took the statements from Miss Saffron, Grandmaster Rose, and Chancellor Tuscany and put those into our detective's notebook, and with process of elimination and a few other things. So you saw like the manor house, that could not have been the motive for Miss Saffron. So that eliminated to see what it felt like to kill as her motive and gave her the motive to rob the victim, and assigned Grandmaster Rose the motive to see what it felt like to kill. The other motives we already had from the other weapons, and everything kind of just fell into place. Kind of surprisingly easy for Saturday, but you know what? We'll take it, right? So we have Sister Lapis with the yarn, the quaint garden to rage with jealousy. Let's go ahead and see if we were right. All right, we were right. Thanks so much for playing along with me today. I hope this was a helpful walkthrough, and we'll see you tomorrow.